Welcome back to another episode of Lenny's Fishing. So today we're back up Northumberland, trying in the heavy kelp to see if we can winkle out any of them nice red codlings. And I'm not alone this time. I've been joined by my mate, special guest, Mr. Chris Brash, who is the owner of Phantom Fishing Rods, and he's just setting up there with the new rod that he's not long released. So yeah, anyways, we are going to fish an hour and a half down on this low water mark that I'm at. Going to get on there once that tide drops back, and we're going to fish the first hour of the flood on there. And once it starts to flood, what we'll do is we'll push all the way up to the top of there and fish about 2 or 3 hours of the flood tide and see how we get on. So I'm just waiting for this tide to drop back so I can get onto the front of here, and then once it has, I'll get a rig baited up and I'll bring you back and we'll get stuck into the action. Right, so that's the first bait up ready. Yet again, short pulley rig, 3/0 hook, peeler crab, rotten bottom, 6-ounce lead on the Tronics Pro competition rock. So a little bit premature for chucking out, but I cannot wait. I need to get a bait in the water straight away, so that's what I'm going to do. So here goes the first chuck. Conditions are absolutely spot on, and I'm feeling confident. There we go. Last session the other day, absolute write-off. Fishing was rubbish. So hopefully I can make up for that today. Time will tell. But as I say, that's the first chuck out. Rod in the tripod. And whilst I wait for this tide to drop back, I'll get my second rig out and get that baited up. So Brashy's just come along and decided that he's got a few secret sweets in the box. He's going to try a little bit of caught, which it's early, but if there's fish in the kelp and they're on the eater crab,
the fresh crab and caught,
that could be absolutely deadly, that mate. Hey, we'll see what happens. So Brashy's just sorting his first bait out there now. He's going to get that cast out. Mine's already in, as I say, and we'll bring it back, hopefully, when the action starts. Who's going to win, Brashy?
Well, we'll let you know. We'll have to wait and see, won't we?
Just been getting a really slow lunge here. Looks like it might go. Yeah, that's a better bite.
Oh,
definitely got a fish on here. Yeah, first chuck went to a fish. Yeah. So we've got a fish on first chuck, guys, which is always a good sign. Could be a good day. Hopefully it's not the first cast curse, eh? Doesn't feel too bad either. That's definitely a size codling, unless it's a wrasse like. Just trying to get it through that heavy ground there. Just coming over a patch of kelp there now, just try and bully it over the top of that. Brashy's getting a bite as well. Oh, that's a nice bright red fish, that's what we've come for. Ah, it's good to see on the first chuck. There we're gone. So, that's what we've come for. Cracking start that. Nice red fish. Hopefully we can continue getting a few more, just in the lip as well there. So I'll get him unhooked and I'll get him slipped straight back. There it is. First chuck, first fish. Nice bright red fish. I've probably underestimated the size of it, like. It might be closer to about £3 that. I'll get the scales out and get it on, and then we'll get it slipped back. So there you go, I was well off. It's £3 9 ounces. So there it is, £3 9 ounces. Brilliant start to the session, well chuffed for that. Get him slipped back and we'll crack on. Right guys, so this is the second chuck, ready to go out. Brashy had a good bite on his first chuck there as well, so we're full of high anticipation. 3.5 pound on the first chuck. Hopefully we can continue with that. Right, here goes the second chuck. I'm going to put it a bit further out again. There we go. Yeah, so the only problem with casting that far is I've got all that ground to reel over if I do get another fish, but if that's where the fish are, then we'll just have to put up with whatever it is on the way back in. So as you know, I've been trying for a few weeks now to try and get a better red summer codling, ideally over the 4 pound mark, but in the previous videos, I think out of desperation, I've said I'll settle for one over 3, and I've gone and done that today after my first chuck. So now we've got another target to beat, which is to try and get one over 4 pound. So we'll see what happens anyway. We'll crack on. It's early days, session's only just begun. I'm just really hoping that that's not the first cast curse. Oh, bite again there. This is what you want, guys, isn't it? Bites like that every chuck. I mean, I know it's only the second chuck, but we've both had bites, both chucks. I'm for a 3.5 pound out, and that looks, yeah, that's a better bite. Yeah, another fish on there. Doesn't feel as big as the first one, like, but we'll take it. Just trying to rip it through that kelp. Keeps going to ground. Well, 2 fish and 2 chucks, guys. This is what we've come for. And this is what we've been waiting all summer for, is to try and have a session like this. Hopefully it continues. So there you go. Another codling, probably just on size. Yeah, he'll definitely be on size, but just small. So again, get him unhooked, get him put back, and keep cracking on. Hopefully we can continue bringing more of them. So there you go. That was the most recent one, which is just on 40 centimetres. And unfortunately, it was deep hooked, so it hasn't survived. And to be honest, I tried to recover the first fish that I had, as you've seen in the video when I was trying to put it back. And that one didn't survive either, so Brashy's got a couple for the pan. Who was it that wanted them? Your mum? So Brashy's mum wanted a couple of fish for the pan. So she's got 2 there up to now. As I say, we'll try and return any fish we can. But if they don't go back, guys, simply no point in letting them float off. So they'll get taken away and put to good use. So third chuck, biting away again. This one looked a little bit more rattly, but you never know. We'll pick it up and have a feel. Hopefully it can be a hat trick. It's been biting away for a while, like, but it's only small. I think I've missed that one. If I have got it, it's extremely small, like, but I don't think there's anything on there now. Oh, there is. There's a tiddler on. Well, that's 3 in a row anyway. And it's not a rockland, so that's positive. It's a really small codling. There you go. Little Tommy codling, just a small one. Perfectly hooked just through the lip there as well, look. Straight back. Right, get this fourth chuck out. Usually you want to go the other way, you want to get the small ones and for them to gradually get bigger, but it seems to be going the opposite way. We've got a big one and then a smaller one and then a small one. Let's try and reverse it. Yeah, so this is the fourth chuck. And to be honest, the water's extremely coloured, which I'm surprised at, like, getting 3 fish in 3 chucks. You know, after what happened the other day when I was on the rocks just through the tunnel and the water was coloured and I had nothing other than that rockling. But I suppose if there's fish there, then they have to feed, just like I was saying in the last video. Because they're either there or they're not, it's as simple as that. So I've had 3 in 3 chucks here. Hopefully we'll keep up catching consistently throughout the video. But if not, I suppose I can't complain, can I? I've had a few fish out and I've had one 3.5 pounds, so I've definitely had worse sessions than that. But there's a lot of time left. Say this is my 4th chuck, we've still got about half an hour till bottom water. So I'll probably get another chuck in before bottom, so that'll be 5 chucks on the ebb. And then try and make like between 6 and 8 chucks on the flood. So plenty of opportunity to try and catch a few more fish. So this is 4th chuck, it's just approaching bottom water and things have slowed right down. I've had a couple of little bites on this chuck, but just rattly ones and there's quite a big space in between. Brashy's put a big lovely lump of cod on. He's just getting a bite there now. I was just about to say he hasn't had a bite yet, but I must have made that happen in my head. So I'm going to whip this one in anyway. Because Brashy's brought a bit caught that he's scraped out the freezer left over from last winter, it would be rude not to pinch one off him. So I've pinched a wing off him and I've got half a wing on this chuck. I'm just going to try it. See if it brings anything bigger. And we'll see if Brashy's bite progresses into a fish. And I'm going to pull this one in. I've got a feeling it's probably been stripped because the bites I've had have been flaky as out. So don't know whether that's been a lobster or whether it's been a really small fish. But we'll get it in and find out. Yeah, so nothing on there. I'll quickly get it in, get this next chuck out, which will be chuck number 5. And as I say, this is the one that's got the little bit of caught on it, so switch things up and just see if that makes any difference. It's not something we'd usually use in the height of summer, like, but it's always worth a go. There it is, big caught bomb with a fresh bteer crab underneath it. So when we've come along over to the right hand side on my 4th chuck, I just did a bit of an overhead lob and it didn't really produce anything, so I'm going to try chuck this one a little bit further out just to see if that makes any difference. There you go. That's with that carp bait on. It's only been in the water a few minutes. As soon as I've picked the rod up, it stopped biting, so I'm just going to put it back down and see if it comes back. Yeah, tapping away there straight away as soon as I put it back down. Proper codling lunges them. Cod nods, as they say. Yeah, definitely a fish here. There's a fish here, like, but it's very, very finicky. So it's been about 5 minutes or so since I was getting that half decent codling bite, and I've decided to just bait up whilst I wait to see what happens with it. And a couple of minutes ago it pulled over again and pulled a little bit line off the reel, but I'm worried, to be honest, that it might be a lobster, because I've put that cart on. I think it might have attracted a lobster, so I'm not entirely sure whether it's a fish or whether it's a lobby having a good pull at that bait. It's been knocking away for about 10 minutes or so now, so I'm going to get it in anyway and find out. There might be a fish line on, and if there's no fish line on, then it's definitely been a lobster. Let's find out and see what's going on with this. There's a fish line on, like. Well, there you go, fish number 4. Another sizable red codling. That was on the cart. So they do still have a good go at it in the summer months, like. Oh, heavy ground there, like. Right, let's see what we've got going on here. What we've got, is it a wrasse? Looks like it could be a wrasse. Oh, hang on. It's a codling. That size codling there. This one's not very red. Doesn't look like it's been in the kelp for very long. There you go. I'll know one thing though. It's got some horrible disease, this fish. Have a look at this. So it's long, it's really skinny, and look at that horrible disease in its eyeball. Ugh. You don't want to be eating that. Definitely not. So there you go. Fish number 4. A horrible, skinny, diseased looking codling. Honestly, it's all skin and bone, this, like. Poor fella. We'll get him back. Good. Don't want to be catching them like that. I mean, we all want to catch the codlings, but whatever that's got's horrible. Off he goes. Right, so 5 chucks, 4 fish. 3 of them sizable fish, 1 undersize. So it's a good session so far. I'm going to move back along there for the start of the flood tide, because like I say, we had the first 3 chucks a bit further over from where I am now, and then we've moved on to here, but I think it's going to start flooding soon. In fact, you know what, I'm going to have 1 more chuck on here and then I'll move back across over there. So this one's just straight crab, and I've got another half a wing which I'll probably use on the next chuck. Right, try again, eh? Oh, that was a helicopter and a half. I didn't get that cast away very well. Don't know if you caught it on the camera there spinning in the air, but yeah, it shouldn't matter too much. Aye, so I was just getting a few really small rattly bites there, but nothing to shout about. Probably just another really small fish or crab or lobster. Brashy's back over there. He's struggling at the minute, like, but there's plenty of time for him to pull it back. Hope he pulls something decent out. Make his just to make his efforts worthwhile. But to be honest, I think he's happy just to be out and have a bit of crack. He had major surgery a few months ago, and it put him out of the game for a long time. And even when he was back on his feet, he didn't really have the strength to be doing all this rock fishing and helping out the kelp and all that stuff. It's just biting away again there, look. So it's good to see him back on the rocks fishing into the kelp. So one of my good pals is Brashy. And it's great because obviously I'm an ambassador for Tronics Pro. and there's no conflict of interest there when I go fishing with Chris. Obviously he owns his own rod company, and you know, there's no hard feelings about me not using his rods and stuff like that, even though we are very good mates. I stay loyal to the company that I work with, and obviously I still help promote Chris's brand, and obviously I sell Chris's rods in the shop as well, and he's doing well for himself, and it's good to see one of my mates do well for himself. Oh, he's getting a bite there, look. Whip in this chuck, see if there's anything lying on, and then I'm going to go back over there and join Chris for a couple of more chucks until we get pushed off here. And then what we'll do is we'll go further up the bay, up there, and see what that brings. Proper lump of bait for this chuck. See if I can entice a nice big fish out. Just had a really good lunge over there. Looked like it might have went right over, so just going to get in the other rod, just in case it does it again. Little bite. Oh, that's a better bite. Slat line as well. I was expecting that to absolutely rive out my hands here when I picked it up, but I've had a hold of it now for a minute or so and hasn't gone again. Just going to put it back in the rod stand and see what happens. That was a hell of a bite I had. Rod went right over, then the next bite was a slat line, and then it was still topping away when I picked it up, but that was it. I hope it hasn't dropped it, like. With a bit of luck it'll just still be lingering around and I'll have another go at it. Either that or it's took the hook and it's just sitting in a bed of kelp doing nothing, and then we'll find out when it starts to move again. Right, it's been about 10 minutes since I had that slat liner and that decent bite. Nothing's happened since, so unless it's sat there in a bed of kelp and it's not doing anything, then I don't think there's anything on. So we'll whip it in anyway, find out. I've got this baited up, probably have this last chuck on here, and then we'll move up the way we're going to move for the rest of the flood tide. Yeah, nothing sat on there, so just quickly drag this in, get another fresh bait put out. Right, get this one blasted out. Like I say, this will be the last chuck on here, and then we're going to move. I know what will happen. I'll end up pulling a decent fish out this chuck and then having another 6 last casts on here. That was a horrendous cast, that. Never mind. We'll leave it where it is. Our line stripper there just walked away from the rod and it just lunged right our. Question is it hooked itself? Oh, I didn't believe that. Yeah, it's there. Let's see if I can get it. Yeah. Ooh. Go on. Go on. Go on. Feels strange, that. Might be a wrasse. This is why you should never walk away from your rod. Seeing this is why you shouldn't walk away from your rod. Turn your back for 2 seconds and your rod's doing backflips. Ah, it's stuck. I don't even know if I've hooked it. Damn you, kelp beds. Nah, there's no on. Bloody nightmare. Ah! That's how it makes you feel. Ah! But there's definitely some decent fish out there, like. Honestly, like I turned the back just before I put the camera on. The rod was literally levitating in the stand, stripping line off the reel. Right, I'll get it next chuck, like. Probably get one about 20 centimetres to make up for it. Gonna have to have another chuck, like. Ah! Hey, I'm getting another raking bite there. Just as I walk away from the rod yet again. And of course, as I come over to it, the bite stops. There it is. I'll get it in my hands ready, so I'll try not to miss this one. Right, well, we've got that one, thankfully. It's hard to tell whether they're big, like better fish, or whether it's just coming through the kelp, you know? Because obviously the grounds are heavy. This one feels half decent, to be fair. You never know until you get them in, because I've had them before in the kelp where they feel massive, and then as you get them in, they're tiny. Yeah, we'll find out. I think this is a better fish, to be fair. Feels heavy, so I think it's a better fish, like, unless it's just getting stuck in the ground. Nah, it's alright. It's not a monster, like. There we're gone. Another nice red one. So as I say, they take some getting in through that ground, but they're more than welcome, especially when they're that colour. Stunning fish, like. Are we having another last chuck on here?
Aye, go on then.
We're gonna have to, won't we?
Aye.
We'll have one more on here, and then we'll have to leave because the tide's pushing us back. This one's deep hooked as well. Do you want this one? Yeah, so this one's deep hooked. So this one will get kept for the pan as well. There we go. Cheers, bud. Definitely this one last chuck on here, because that tide's starting to push in and we don't want to get cut off. And then we'll go up there for an hour or two, see what happens. So yeah, I'm really happy. That's 5 fish out now, 4 of them being sized fish and 2 of them being half decent. Got one about 3.5. That last fish I had there was definitely 2.5 easy. And yeah, the other 2 that were sort of just oversized. And then obviously the one small one as well. So keep plodding on, you never know what's going to happen. Could get a big one, or if not, I've had a good day so far anyway, me, like, so I'm happy. We'll see what happens anyway. If I don't get anything on this one, then I'll see you when I'm up there. Otherwise, I'll bring you back if this one starts to bite. Shit. Go bite this. God. Fish on, like. Oh, it's off. Ah! Oh, what a nightmare, man. That felt alright, that definitely felt like a better fish. But this is the way it goes when there's fish here. You kind of catch every single one of them when you're fishing the kelp. Right, we're going to have to move off here now as much as we don't want to, because there's obviously clearly some nice fish here to be had, but you know, getting cut off's not worth it. So I'll bring you back once we get up there. So that's us moved, and we've got about an hour and a half up here. We'll see if this brings anything. It's been pretty much cornered this morning, like, having landed 5 fish, which I know is not a massive amount of fish, but considering how the fishing's been, it's pretty good going, and definitely lost a few decent fish as well due to either bumping them off or just not hooking them. So at a guess, I would say I should have probably landed 8 in total, because there was a definite 3 that were really good bites that I didn't connect with. But never mind, I got 5 out, 4 of them were sized, and now it's time for Brashy to make the big comeback. So we'll see what happens. So we've had another move, because up there we had 2 chucks each, and aside from a couple of little rattles, the second chuck that we both had was out there for about 20 minutes and didn't move. And usually when that happens, you know that there's just no fish there, like, so we weren't going to waste any more time there, not when we've only got a little bit of time left. So we've had another little move further down the skier, and this is the first chuck down here. So we're going to have a go with this, see if that brings anything. Chucking into the same area roughly as where we were getting the fish earlier on today. And I'll let you know if anything happens. So this is my first chuck each on here. We've both had a couple of small bites, but I'm going to get this in, and we're going to have 1 more chuck each. That's what we've agreed on. So it's been quite slow on the flood. Don't get us wrong, when we're on the first mark on the flood, the first hour and a bit of the flood was really good. Plenty of good bites, few fish. But since we've moved off there, it's become hard work. So like I say, we're going to have 1 more chuck, and then we'll call it a day, even if we do get fish on the last chuck. But as always, thanks for watching, and if you did enjoy the video, please make sure that you subscribe, and what will happen is you'll get a notification every time a video goes up, so that you don't miss out on any future content. It's free of charge to do so. You just click the little button that's under the screen that says subscribe, and that'll be much appreciated if you can do that for me. So yeah, I'm going to whip this in now, get the last bait put on, and then we'll go from there. Well, hey! This braid doesn't snap. Either does yours. Go on, B-Dog, you got one lying on. There it is, last bait, last supper, last chance saloon. See what happens. Whoa! So we've both been getting a couple of bites here on the last chuck. Brashy had a canny bite actually. Bite's just been a little bit more rattly. And you'll never believe this. The sun's decided to come out just as we're about to leave. But to be honest with you, I think the fact that it's been overcast has probably made an improvement on the fishing that we had earlier on. It's just tapping away there again, look. Small, really small like, but a bite's a bite.
That's on that.
See if I can sign off on a fish, eh? So Brashy did hook his fish, but unfortunately when he was pulling out the kelp, it's bumped off. So this is just what happens when you fish on the rocks. I'm going to see if I've got anything on here. Ooh. Ooh. So nothing on here. So that's the end of the session, people. Once again, thanks for watching. And until the next one, tight lines, and we'll see you again soon.